I would like to invite Fiona and Ismal to the stage for the dialogue that will happen now. And they will look into the question how peace builders and artists can work together and can complement each other towards transformation. We have Ismal Muntaha, who is an interdisciplinary artist. Some of you may have had the privilege yesterday of being in his workshop, which I hear was fantastic. And he is a resident at the Jatiwangi art factory in Indonesia. He also founded the Sunday Screen Video collective, and I will ask him later why it's called Sunday Screen Video. And he is currently experimenting a lot with clay and is founding a collective working on clay. So he's our actual artist. And then we have a peace builder who is experimenting with arts, Fiona Mangan, who is the current USIP country representative in the Central African Republic. Her work focused, or used to focus, or still focuses a little bit on justice, security questions, questions of transnational crime. So her main area of interest is rule of law, and she's worked in Liberia on rule of law. She has done election observation in South Sudan and the Somali region. And she is actually now getting more and more into arts. And let's hear from her how she does that.
Thank you very much. So what I thought I would do was to explore this question of what can artists and peace builders learn from each other through a series of questions that I posed to myself as I was preparing for this today. And the first one was, who am I? And where do I fit into this sort of spectrum of artist versus peace builder versus artist peace builder? And I suppose I'm more a peace builder. Sometimes that too feels a bit lofty, and I think that I'm just at least a person who wants to build peace. I'm Irish. My mother is from Northern Ireland, and I grew up against the backdrop of that conflict and crossing that border. And very much as well to the art that was associated with that conflict, which was violent and intimidating, and as Paula mentioned yesterday, yet something that we also want to maintain and to think through and to process the narratives and to look at with a critical eye. What else am I? I'm a researcher, and in that mode I'm probably the most comfortable. I interview, I analyze, and I write. And why am I here? I'm here because this year I was involved in an arts-based piece of research and some peace-building activities, including arts-based programming. And that's what I wanted to present to you a little bit today. And I was extremely lucky not just to be here presenting it to you, learning from you all at Build Peace, but to have had the opportunity through this project to work with Build Up and to bring on their creative brilliance as part of our project. So what have we done? And in order to describe this project, first, I think one thing that's really important to know about Central African Republic that anyone who's worked there will have felt is the huge gap that exists between what happens in Bangui and amongst the Bangui elites that rule, many of whom have dual French citizenship and spend as much time there as they do in the capital, disconnected indeed, in fact, from what the communities experience even at the capital level, but extremely disconnected from what happens at the base, and what happens in communities, and what the realities of those are. And I guess what, at this very, very critical moment for building peace in the Central African Republic, there's some concern that we're barreling down the same processes, the same mistakes of the past, simply reconstructing a system that doesn't work, that hasn't worked, that's imported from the French. And so what we wanted to do was to see whether we could create an institutional culture around consultation. To create this idea that governance is a conversation, that it's a two-way conversation, and that in order to reform your security sector in order to move towards peace, that you need to understand what's going on in the base, and that needs to inform the process. And so I'm showing you this slightly complicated diagram in order to give you a little bit of an idea of what we did. So we picked as our key point of consultation a topic that is really current in the papers every day, and a big discussion item for citizens in CARD, which is the disarmament, demobilization and reintegration program that the government is planning in conjunction with the international community. As part of that, the security sector reform process, and as feeds into that, what community security means in CARD. And so what we did was, at the national level, we composed what we're calling a consultation advisory committee. And what this is a set of senior civil servants that we worked with and that informed and guided the process. And we were trying to create ways for them to engage with the communities and to help them through technology, through video, and through a number of other means to create linkages. So the Consultation Advisory Committee came together and we're discussing what DDR, what SSR, what community security is going to mean for CARD. And then came up with a set of questions that they felt that they could benefit from learning more about what the communities felt about those issues. And we built up, filmed them asking those questions, and those videos of those questions were used to stimulate conversation then in these 3 activities which occurred at community level. And they range from the slightly more traditional and then towards the more experimental. And so we've done My Safe Space, more classic qualitative research at the base, and an analysis of 8 communities. We engaged in local dialogues with the communities, again, using those videos to stimulate the initial discussion at the dialogues, and used a very specific mediation-based methodology to create safe spaces at those local dialogues. And then the third one, which I'm going to focus a little bit more on today, which was using art, open spaces, and participatory video within the communities. Participatory video was, I suppose, a little bit more of a structured art activity. And what this participatory video meant was that 4 communities that we worked in themselves shaped and created a documentary film that was on a topic that they selected about their community security, and presented a series of messages, interviews, simply visual shots in some cases as well, of messages that they wanted to convey to the government about their security, that they wanted taken on board. And something that I really, really enjoyed, to accompany that more structured activity, we engaged as well in a semi-structured activity alongside it, which was these art open spaces. Essentially what happened in those was to pick as neutral a space as possible that we could in each community, and to create an art and creative open space. Nothing was wrong. In one corner you would have painting, in another you could pick up crayons or markers and draw a message, draw a graphic, you could sing and have it recorded, you could do a piece of theatre sketch, you could, anything went. And this was very new for Central African citizens. In particular, they were a little perplexed to arrive in and say, what is this? Where's the workshop? When are you going to tell me what to do? Okay, you want me to give a message to the government? What message do you want me to deliver? And we were sort of saying, no, that's up to you. This is an open space. What if I get it wrong? There's no wrong in this space. And so it was really interesting. What I think maybe at this point I'll do is then allow the communities to speak for themselves and show you a little clip of one of our summary films. Bearing in mind that all of these shots, everything was guided by the community. Nothing was shot by us. This was all
couper la mini, Centrafrica couper la Timoni, dans les tignes, mon problème mini, Centrafrica problème Timoni, dans les tignes.
Et la guerre nous a fatigués. Tout le monde a la bouche. La
policeman,
mort des
in
hommes.
addition to being
La
an
personne
artist,
derrière le drapeau de la République centrafricaine.
what he painted was a guilty village.
Il n'a pas de son village.
Because
C'est
his
chaud.
village is empty. Everybody's These are some of the pictures created by the children in violent cases.
Il y avait trois femmes et trois fils qui venaient traverser le fleuve. Et ces trois femmes sont des sorcières. S'il les quitte,
This man is telling a
son
story
fils
about
doit
witchcraft
pour
and
sorcerer.
these women. This issue about
Et
them.
maintenant, tous les enfants restent à côté de sa maman. Mais il y a un problème. Il n'avait qu'une seule pirogue à traverser. Et pour monter dans cette pirogue, il contient que 2 personnes. À ce temps-là, si ces femmes et ces enfants ne traversent pas, le groupe armé est là, entre parenthèses des sadiques. L'une de ces femmes dit: venez mes soeurs, j'ai une idée. Voyez derrière vous ceux du mal. Laissons partir nos fils. Et l'autre a dit: pour sa part, je vais rester avec mon fils et mourir avec lui. Maintenant, le troisième dit: ma sœur avait raison. On ne peut pas tous mourir ici. Je suis d'accord avec elle. Et c'est pendant qu'elle parle, les sadiques arrivent entre parenthèses les lions. Elles sont laissées partir les enfants. Et ici, ils sont là avec tous les trois. Ont été tués et les enfants sont sauvés la vie.
Maybe I'll just show you that snapshot. So that's just a little snapshot, and I'm sorry, I know it's in French, so hopefully you're just getting some sort of a flavour of it today. We will indeed be actually putting some English subtitles on the bottom to be able to use it, not just internally, but also in order to raise awareness and to raise interest in CAR and understanding at the international level. So where are we now in this process? What we've now completed is the key activities in each of the communities. And we're at a stage where we're now assisting the Consultation Advisory Committee to take on board those messages, to think through how they can use those messages in informing their work as senior civil servants or as civil society, and how they can influence these processes that happen at national level, taking on board these very important needs, dynamics, concerns, and messages from the base. The next level, we'll be going back this week, in order to have that final meeting with the Consultation Advisory Committee to really consolidate those messages. And then on the 1st of October, Michaela will be coming out to the Central African Republic for an exhibition. We're going to try to bring together as much of the visual messages, as much of the video, the screenings that we can present. And we're going to present it in a very elite space in order to be taken on board in a very public environment by some of these elites, by the ministers, by the bosses of our Consultation Advisory Committee, by indeed the international community, who are also guilty of skipping this consultation phase, especially around the disarmament process, and to present that. And then we'll be working with them to think about how we can craft messages back down and continue to feed this cycle. So as my sort of final question to myself, as a peace builder, what have I learned? And in some ways, the question seems more like, from whom have I learned? Expression in these spaces and some of the community members who participated, I don't think would ever have been engaged in some of the other activities that we had going on. To be able to capture some of these messages so unfiltered and for them to be coming directly voiced by the citizens and being fed to government, to these senior civil servants, I think was a really important part of the process. Also, to be able to give an opportunity, for example, the individual who filmed that first shot of our lovely guitarist who opens the video was a 14-year-old orphan of the conflict, who then became involved in the participatory video and was involved in making the documentary within his community. Another very striking image that you might have seen during it was a message created by a 16-year-old boy who arrived at the workshop or at the open spaces and said, "What is this? This is a workshop. You need to tell me what to do." Was really perplexed by this, and then eventually was convinced to kind of go off into a corner and to explore, and he came back with the message that you'll have seen during the video that said, "I'm for peace, but when I open my mouth, it's war." Which I think is so evocative to be able to convey to the government. But yeah, who am I at the end of this process? I'm still a researcher. Hopefully, if I have time this fall, I'm still a writer. But I really want to incorporate this kind of arts-based research now into my process going forward, and hopefully into USIP's process going forward.
Thank you so much, Fiona, for giving this perspective. I was particularly struck that we seem to be a community and a field of work that over the years has created expectations of certain things having to happen, and certain workshops and questionnaires and something like that to happen, and that even 16-year-old children are already socialized in our international intervention and in our external intervention into those spaces. So I really liked how you broke this into the community back as an external actor. But now I'm actually even more curious to hear Ismal speak, because he is in the community and he is driving the arts from the community, and just to hear his reflections. Welcome, Ismal.
Thank you very much. Hello, everybody. Nice to meet you all. From what I can start, maybe I can start my feeling now. It's okay. Today I feel very missing my village, especially the food, but and of course also I really much missing my hometown, the situation and the energy. Even in my village also not really have a good weather like this, like very hot and a lot of mosquito, but I don't know, I'm always feel so missing my village, because like one of the reason that I always remember, and maybe it becomes a history from our village, especially for me, because like we are living in the village who well known in Indonesia as a roof tile industry. So there are so many roof tile factory producing roof tile clay. It's already happened like since like 111 years ago. So we always producing clay. So every day we see clay, we see roof tile, and like in the industrial area. So sometimes people not really like stay in our place. But from that, like 2005, we starting to inviting many friends to come to our place. First, we starting to make a connection again with our neighborhood, with our other village, and we believe that and we choose to not starting with a problem, we choose to starting with creating excitement together. Maybe it will make us more happier to stay in our place. Forget the mosquito, forget the hot weather, and make some excitement together. That's why we very contagious to make a festival. Like we have annual festival, we have the annual festival, and we have 3 annual festival, which is every festival we always asking artists or other profession or our friends to stay in our place, because stay for us is very important. First, we can see a new perspective from let's say our friend from the outside of our place, because we see everyday life, like we see roof tile every day. So maybe if someone comes, the new person comes, maybe can see new perspective of roof tile, and yeah, and after 10 years, we feel more happy and more proud to stay in our place. One is the event or moment that for me it's unforgettable moment is the last year, and you can see the video. Because so many roof tile, so we try to make roof tile as a music. And in this 2015, 6,000 people together make an orchestra from roof tile that we see every day. So we come to every village every day, like during 3 months, make a workshop and make a practice together. And after that, in the end, in the November of 11, it's like our new history, because together 6,000 people in one harmony. The song is our march. We make a march of our place. This is the student. Like we come also to every school, from elementary school, junior high school, police officer, chief of the village. So this is the sound of the roof tile. This is the pot. We just put the rubber in it. upside, and this is a clay flute. The total video is 20 minutes, so it's too long. But why we do this? We don't know also why, but we. It may be important to make a proudness together again as people who living in some place. Yeah, thank you very much.
And I don't know what will stay with you from this day, but for me, something that will stay with me is why we did do that. I don't know. I don't know why we did it. I don't know. And we tend to focus so much on what is proven and what is proven by research. So I do think maybe that's something you can carry in your heart, in Sanjana's heart. For you as you leave this conference even, which will already be today, so that's sad. I don't even know, I have like a million reactions, but I want to give the floor to you to react, to ask questions if you must.
I'll just talk about, yesterday Sana was dancing with refugees, and she was telling me, we were just talking with Rachel and said that I just want to do my joy. I want to bring my joy to people. So I think if you guys can bring your joy to it, that's why. Why not?
Hello, I'm Annette from Peacebuilders Foundation, and we're having a project on art for peace. So I joined yesterday the workshop. It was amazing for doing art. So my question is, how can we, through art, motivate more people and do like a network on how to contact in really local and communities that are really, really far away? Like, do you have a special strategy like for creating contacting more people?
Can you repeat your question once again?
How do you create more impact, or how do you contact more people in the communities, or how do you make more impact, so to get more people joining your project?
So how do you get people and more people to join?
Yeah, because we just asking our friend because we're living in the village, and there are 16 villages in our place. Yes, we just asking our friend, our neighborhood. So like starting from make a friend, I think. And we come to police officer like, hey police, how about now we make a music? And then yeah, why not? Okay, let's go and make music, and yeah. Or sometimes we invite them because we also have village video festival. It's annual festival, but we always inviting to some residency, stay like for 2 weeks and then make project together. And yeah, we also like, and the police said, oh, I want to make a good video because if I catch the criminal, my video is not good, so okay, let's go make a video together. And after that we make some exhibition together just to see the new perspective of their activity.
Yeah, I think loud. Question, Fiona. When you see this collective of people working together,
tried to do in order to create that link. One was that the civil servants had the opportunity to actually travel out to some of these activities and to see them happening. In part also to make sure that they knew we weren't cooking the messages. From our first showing them a video to them, they were like, but you told them to say that. And you really should have told them to say it better, which was interesting. Then them going out and seeing, it was very interesting that the civil servants have now come back and said, slightly condescendingly, but at least they're starting to have this transformation of, wow, people at the community level really know the issues. They really know their issues. The other thing that we'll be doing is we're going to show these screenings of these documentaries at Jatiwangi level in this big exhibition, this big very special exhibition. And we're going to have breakout groups and we're going to have discussions, and some of the people who were involved in the activities will be there to discuss all of that. But we're also trying to make sure that as we create that exhibition that we make it in a very durable format. So all of the arts will be printed on vinyl banners that can be rolled up. The intention is for the exhibition then to go mobile. So at the end of our art intervention in each of the communities, we had a screening and an exhibition. And part of that was to say, okay, you've created now all of this. Are you comfortable still? Are you now to play back the video, are you comfortable with this message being conveyed upwards? And then once we had that assent, being able to show it. But then we wanted to, through the exhibition, we're going to do some documentation and filming of the exhibition in motion, and then add that into the end of our film and bring that film back. So it not just documents what happened in each of the communities with their documentaries, but it also shows them, we said we were going to show it to the government, and we did. And you can see at the end of this video that this was the exhibition, and this is them listening to your messages, and to show that then back in each of the communities is the intention. And hopefully to see if we can partner with other organizations to then take it beyond the 4 communities in which we worked to also show those messages. Because it was really important for the communities to hear their film that they made back, but we also showed them the other films that the other communities have made. Because in addition to there not being much connection between the government and the communities, in a lot of places there isn't much awareness of what's going on in the east of the country by people who are in the west. And so being able to share that perspective a little bit more in a number of different ways, both sort of vertically and horizontally. I don't know if that answers the question.
And if it doesn't, why not? Why does it have to? Anyone else wanting to react? Everybody's still stunned? Because we can also leave you stunned. And I would just like you to give those two another round of applause.